African lion, the so-called king that still answers to teamwork. A pride hunts together like a trained squad, flanking prey until there's nowhere left to run, and it's the females doing most of the killing while the males guard the borders. Males can hit 250 kilos, and that mane isn't just for looks, it signals maturity and testosterone. A billboard for mate selection that also intimidates rivals before a fight even starts. Their roar travels 8 kilometers, a broadcast that says this land is taken. And despite that fearsome reputation, lions rest up to 20 hours a day, not laziness, energy banked for hunts that happen mostly under cover of darkness. But here's the twist. Lions aren't even Africa's top killer by human body count. That title belongs to a massive, territorial river beast that looks half asleep right up until it isn't. Keep that in mind, because it's next. Bengal Tiger. Solo, silent, and built like a one-cat demolition crew. A male can stretch past 3 meters, weigh over 250 kilos, and drag a kill twice its own weight uphill. Claws locked in for grip while raw jaw and neck strength do the hauling. Each stripe pattern is unique, a fingerprint stitched into camouflage that lets it vanish in grass barely a meter tall. Its bite doesn't wound, it ends things, a crushing throat hold or a full-force tackle strong enough to snap a neck. And yet, for all that raw power, tigers avoid humans on instinct. Most attacks come from starving or cornered cats. Push your luck, though, and that instinct flips. Poaching and vanishing forests have squeezed this predator into a handful of strongholds. Fewer than 5,000 remain wild, confined to fragments of the Indian subcontinent that once held far more. But leave the jungle canopy for a second. The deadliest thing in Africa isn't hiding in the trees at all. It's floating in the river, half submerged, looking bored. Hippopotamus, the chunkiest liar in the animal kingdom. It looks slow and sleepy until you learn it kills roughly 500 people across Africa every year, more than lions and leopards combined, trailing only Nile crocodiles as the continent's deadliest large animal. 3 tons of muscle that can outrun a human on land over short bursts, submerge for 5 minutes without surfacing, and crush a small boat like a soda can underwater. Its massive jaws open past 150 degrees, sometimes hitting a jaw-dropping 180, wide enough to fold a small canoe in half, and those lower tusks, honed by grinding against the uppers, get used for combat, defense, and territorial standoffs. Here's the twist. Hippos graze on grass most nights, but they're not strict vegetarians. They've been documented scavenging carcasses and even eating meat. Mostly a plant-eating tank, but with the temper and occasional diet of a war criminal. Rivers are its turf, and it does not share, not with anything caught standing between it and open water, whether that's a boat, a fisherman, or otherwise. But water isn't the only place death waits quietly. Sometimes it's coiled in the grass, patient, and it doesn't need 3 tons of muscle to end you. Black Mamba. Africa's fastest, most feared snake, and it's not even trying to be dramatic about it. It moves at close to 12 kilometers an hour, faster than most humans can sprint, striking multiple times in a burst, injecting a neurotoxin that shuts down your nervous system, paralysis creeping in over 45 minutes to a few hours as breathing starts to fail. Untreated, a full envenomation is essentially guaranteed to be fatal, close to 100%, sometimes within just a few hours. The name isn't even about its skin, which is gray to olive. It's about the ink-black interior of its mouth, flashed wide open as a final warning shot before the strike that follows if you don't back off. Ignore that warning and there's no negotiating afterward. No second chance. Anti-venom has to work faster than the toxin spreading through your bloodstream. But size and speed aren't the only ways to kill on this list. Sometimes the danger isn't a predator hunting at all. It's the animal that never wanted a fight in the first place. Cape buffalo, nicknamed the Black Death, and hunters mean it as a genuine compliment to its rage. This isn't a predator hunting you, it's prey that decided to hunt back. Herds numbering in the many thousands move together as one, and if a single member of the herd is threatened, the whole group can wheel around and charge as a solid wall of horn and muscle. Wounded buffalo are notorious for circling back to ambush the very hunter who shot them. Revenge, basically, delivered with hooves and horns. Nearly a ton of animal, strong enough to toss a full-grown lion like a rag doll. Professional safari guides genuinely fear it more than big cats, precisely because it remembers exactly who wronged it. But if a buffalo is terrifying because it fights back, this next creature is terrifying because it doesn't even need to catch you at all. Komodo Dragon, the largest lizard alive, and it plays a longer game than almost anything else here. Up to 3 meters long and around 70 kilos, powerful enough to ambush a deer outright, but its real weapon is patience. One bite from its serrated teeth causes serious blood loss outright, and a venom cocktail packed with toxic proteins stops blood from clotting and crashes the victim's blood pressure on top of it. The prey rarely dies instantly. Shock and blood loss usually finish it within hours, and the dragon simply follows the scent trail until it does. A predator that wears its prey down fast, tracking a wounded animal across the terrain without ever needing to break into a real run. For decades, its saliva was blamed for the kill, a supposedly septic bite loaded with bacteria, but that turned out to be a myth. In 2009, scientists confirmed dedicated venom glands were the real weapon. Meanwhile, somewhere in the opposite climate extreme, another apex predator is running the exact same waiting game, just on ice instead of sand. Polar bear, the Arctic's apex predator, and one of the few species capable of a true predatory attack on a human, though it's not routine hunting, encounters stay rare, driven by desperation, extreme hunger, or shrinking sea ice pushing the two species into contact at all. Up to 700 kilos, noticeably longer than most door frames are tall, built almost entirely for a single job, patience on sea ice, standing motionless over a seal's breathing hole for hours, sometimes days at a stretch. Its fur isn't even white, it's transparent, hollow strands scattering light over jet black skin underneath that soaks up Arctic sun for warmth. It can smell a seal through a meter of solid ice up close, or catch that scent from kilometers away across open terrain. And as that ice keeps vanishing earlier every year, polar bears are pushed closer to human settlements, hungrier and far less patient than before, turning a warming Arctic into a slow-motion hunting crisis, with no easy fix in sight. But cold and patience aren't the only recipe for an apex predator. Down in the jungle heat, one more cat still holds the strongest bite of anything on this entire list. Jaguar. Pound for pound, the strongest bite of any big cat on Earth, strong enough to punch straight through turtle shells and skulls alike without slowing down. Most cats go for the throat and suffocate their prey. The jaguar skips the drama entirely and crushes the skull direct. It's also one of the only big cats that swims for the fun of it, hunting fish and turtles underwater, and dragging caimans its own size out of rivers like it's nothing. Its spotted rosette coat isn't just decoration, it's a vanishing act built for dappled rainforest light, gone in one blink even at close range. And in native mythology across the Americas, the jaguar wasn't just an animal, it was treated as a bridge between the living world and the dead. Honestly, after everything else on this list, that might be the least exaggerated legend of them all, a killer efficient enough to earn worship instead of just fear. 8 animals, 8 completely different ways for a human to die, 8 completely different toolkits built by evolution for the exact same purpose, and somehow the single deadliest creature on the planet isn't even on this list. It's not a mammal, not a reptile, and it definitely does not have teeth the size of your hand. It's smaller than your fingernail, it doesn't roar, it doesn't stalk, it just lands and leaves, and it's coming in the next video. If you made it this far without flinching, hit subscribe, drop a like, ring the bell, and tell me which one of these 8 you'd least want to run into in the wild.